Hello and welcome to NewsClick. A lot has been happening in banking sector recently. Looks like the ghosts of demonetization have come back to haunt the country again. There are reports of shortage of cash in many states in this country, Andhra Pradesh, Haryana, Bihar and many other places. As well as that, there are other crises in the banking sector. For past 2 years, there has been a great deal of discussion that the banking crisis is mainly a public sector problem, that public sector banks are the root cause of this crisis, because of which the public sector banks need to be privatized. But now that the ICICI Bank and Axis Bank have also come out with a problem of conflict of interest, it's interesting to see what the bank employees think of this. So for this, we have with us here C.H. Venkatachalam of AIBA. Hello, sir. Welcome to NewsClick.
How are you?
I'm good, sir. So let's begin with the problem of this cash again, because all of us have thought that we have those days behind us when we had to queue up in ATMs for this cash. Now it's 1.5 years since the demonetization happened. So why this problem has come back again?
No, this government has a knack of doing things wrongly from the beginning. Now again we have the cash crunch. Banks are short of cash. In ATM there is no cash. In branches there is no cash. Customers are coming and shouting. And they are rightly putting a question. When I don't have enough money in my account, then you impose a penalty. You are collecting charges. When I have money but you don't have money to give me, why should I not charge penal charges from you? To that extent it has come. But the point is that when the demonetization took place, we found 500,000. There were almost 80% of the total quantum of currency notes available. They were demonetized. While replacing that, they should have replaced it with more number of smaller denomination notes, say 50, 100, say 200. But they brought 2,000. That itself is most ridiculous, illogical, irrational, and it was not proper. Because the 1,000 were demonetized just to attack the hoarding of cash. And now you bring in 2,000. That means you want to hoard more. That means you want to politically remove some people who are hoarding, and you want to allow your own people to hoard money. That's why 2,000 has come. And that is creating problem now. For example, the Reserve Bank, they are responsible for this M3, money in circulation. After the total quantum that they decide, looking to price, inflation, demand, supply, etc., and some X quantum of money has to be in supply. Out of that, we find that nearly 70%, 75% are in the 2,000, and that is getting vanished. The moment 2,000 comes immediately from market, from banks, it is vanishing. We can understand who is doing that. So the result is that smaller denominations, which are very much required, they are in less quantity, and so there is more demand, and we are not able to make up. But Reserve Bank says on paper, I have printed up to M3. What is required, I have printed. But they are printing more of the 2,000. So, and that is going away from the circulation. So that is creating a scarcity.
So let me interrupt you here to be clear.
Yeah,
so
please.
you are saying that the Reserve Bank is actually facilitating the hoarding of this black money by printing a lot of 2,000 rupee notes, and whereas causing inconvenience to most of the common people by creating a shortage of this short denomination notes.
Exactly. You see, Reserve Bank has become now just an extension counter, mouthpiece of the government. Government is the culprit. Government wanted to facilitate their own people to hoard cash, so they have brought this 2,000 now. So Reserve Bank is just taking its master's voice, that's all. Government is responsible, you are right. It is to help somebody, 2,000 notes, and they are doing that, and that's why shortage.
Is there a deliberate policy of creating a shortage? Because initially, at least during the process of demonetization, the Prime Minister has said that everybody has to shift away from cash to digital transactions. So is it one of the reasons why government and the RBI are deliberately creating a shortage of cash so that people can shift into or will shift into digital transactions?
Yeah, you got it right. That's exactly the agenda. By creating this scarcity, people will be compelled to move to digital banking. So that's what they are trying to do. But in India, digital banking is okay, but that will come later. Today, predominantly, it is cash-oriented transaction. So overnight, you can't switch. Where is the technology for the entire country, rural area, etc., even in urban for the poor people, That much of banking technology is not available for them to totally switch over to digital. But that is also one of the reasons. But I feel there is another thing behind it for the reason that this FRDI bill. The government has brought the bill unwarrantedly. It is not required for India. Because of that bail-in clause in the FRDI bill, and now people are getting afraid that see, one party is holding the money by rich people or the black money people, that is 2000. Even these small, ordinary people, middle class people, they are afraid of this bail-in clause. Suppose the government and these government people think they can do anything right or wrong. So they are afraid. FRDI bill they will use my money to save the banks, and there are a lot of problems with banks. They perceive this Punjab National Bank fraud, ICICI Bank fraud, Nirav Modi, Rotomac, Videocon, one by one. And so the middle class also, they're withdrawing the money and keeping it idle because tomorrow something may happen to the banks. So that means Reserve Bank on paper, they have this total money in circulation. Actually, so much money is not in circulation. After the money printed, bulk goes in 2000 for holding. Remaining some money is also held up as idle cash by the middle class, thinking that something will happen. They are apprehending the FRDI bill will come, so better to keep some money.
There seem to be a good deal of substance in what you're saying, because according to newspaper report that I have read recently, the velocity of circulation of money has gone down. That means the money is changing hands less number of times, which means that people are actually hoarding the money. Probably, as you said, because they're scared of the FRDI bill. Do you see any other evidence in support of this? Is there any reduction in deposits or the fact that people are withdrawing their deposits?
Yeah. Because of FRDI. Number one, you are right. Velocity should be at least 17 to 20 times the money should circulate again and again. It has drastically come down now. That means money circulation has shrunk. That is not good for the country. We are not digital, so naturally cash has to be there. See, November 2016 is a demonetization. Now 16, 17 months are over. Still, many of the ATMs are not recalibrated. Recalibration is very important because now new notes have come, new designs of 100, new types of 10s, new types of 50s, new types of 200, and the old ATMs cannot hold them. So this is also creating another problem, compounding to the mess. So this government is expert in creating mess in banking department. With the result, people are losing faith. One side frauds, another side these bad loans are going on, other side you are threatening the people with the FRDI bill, now there is no cash. So what are they up to? Are they deliberately trying to kill our banks?
Sir, now shifting to the other issue of the NPA crisis itself, or apart from the NPA crisis, also various kind of scams, as you said, of Nirav Modi, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank have have come out in the open. So at least till before the ICICI Bank the scam came up, everybody was saying that it's the public sector banks that are at the root of all the banking sector crisis. So the solution is privatization of the public sector banks. But now that ICICI Bank scam has been exposed, where the CEO Chanda Kochhar herself has been found to have conflict of interest, where loan has been given to an entity which is controlled by her husband, which is against the rules or practices of banking, a good banking practice. So what do you think is a solution when the crisis is all pervasive, including public and private sector?
Actually, by banking, there is a total economic crisis. With the advent of liberalization and decontrol and privatization, the so-called banking or economic reforms, it's only an automatic child that is to be born only. So it was only expected. But coming to the banks, as you said, so far they have been targeting the public sector banks. It is inefficient, service is not good, their profit is not okay, then the lending policy is not okay, frauds are taking place, scam is there, NPA, all types of targeted charges, allegations. And now it is proved, we have been saying, it is not so. The public sector bank, because we are dealing with so much of quantum of banking business, naturally the frauds are more or problems are more. We are dealing much more than what they do. But now, as you said, ICICI Bank has in one stroke, Axis Bank and ICICI Bank, they expose this myth that private banking is inefficient. In fact, the country knows, unfortunately, people's memory is so poor. Before 1947, so many banks collapsed. After 1947, private banks collapsed. In fact, the Section 45 to the Banking Companies Act came only because of repeated bank failures in Kerala, in Bengal, in many other places. And so from the All India Bank Employees Association, our then General Secretary Prabhakar was also a member of Parliament. He raised the issue. So this amendment was made in future. Private banks, even if they collapse, then it will not be closed, it will be merged with somebody else. And similarly, now, do they have any moral right to talk of privatization of banks? These 12 accounts which have now gone to this NCLT for insolvency. Who are the people? All are private sector people, private giants, corporate people. They are not public sector. Before NCLT, not a single public sector company has gone. All the things, first 12, another 30, another 40, now about 770 accounts have gone before the National Company Law Tribunal for insolvency. All are private companies. And now, it's very glaring. It's a scam, it's a fraud, it's cheating. ICICI Bank has given to Videocon because it is all established that Deepak Kochar is a beneficiary. So you give a loan through the bank and your own family gets a benefit through the trust or whatever. So absolutely the government should be very clear now. The time is right to privatize ICICI Bank, Axis Bank and all these private banks at all. There's no need. Public sector alone can be the real engine driving force behind taking the country to economic progress and development in our country. Whether private banks are given for education loan, whether private banks are given for agriculture loan, whatever rural loan they are giving, it's all buying already the agriculture loan done by the public sector banks. They don't do all those things. Everything is done by us. Rural branches we are opening. Private bank, they don't do anything. And now they were all being glorified. Now the balloon is punctured. Everything has come to know. If you go into further detail, some more private banks will be in the scene. So that's why I'm saying it is high time that public sector should be strengthened, more branches must be opened, more loans on congenial terms should be given to the poor people to take the country forward. All private banks, especially to begin with, ICICI Bank and Axis Bank should be immediately nationalized in country's interest. They are dealing with 9 lakh crores of people's money. It is not safe now any longer. That means they will misuse nepotism, favoritism to benefit themselves.
Sir, apart from what you're saying, there was an interesting pamphlet that I have read recently, which has been produced by AIBA, your own organization, that these so-called private sector banks actually are not Indian private sector banks. For example, you said that ICICI Bank is majority foreign shareholder bank. So that means that any profit that these private sector banks make,
73% ICICI is foreign capital.
So if it is 73% owned by foreign capital, it obviously means that profits are going to foreign companies. So even these private sector banks, when they are making profits, they're not coming to in any way to Indian pockets.
So very true. There are two things. Number one, they are rich, and the Reserve Bank is consciously permitting more and more FDI. Only thing, it is not held by one group, so there is no foreign owner. But it is spread out, but still nearly 70, 75, it is less than 76 up to the maximum. And though naturally the foreign content is more, and very rightly observed, whatever dividend they are declaring, it's all going to the foreign owners. So our money is going out. Our people are taking loans, credit card, retail, whatever, and that interest is the profit. And the revenue is going out of the country, number one. Number two, is it that private bank there is no bad loan? 45,000 crores is the NPA in ICICI Bank, which is more than the NPA of 16 government banks. So how is it that they are better in giving loan? Axis Bank, all banks are having this more than 1,20,000 crores is the bad loan only in the private bank, including the Bandhan Bank, recent one. All these banks, Bandhan Bank is a new one. How come that there is bad loan? So you can't blame. Public sector banks are the Kamadhenu. Public sector banks are the Nilakanta Mahadev, swallowing all the poison of the corporate people. They are defaulters, they are cheating. And then ultimately they are blaming public sector banks and they want to take away their banks. No way. We are dealing with 110 lakh crores of people's money. It's all precious savings. We have to safeguard the banking. We have to safeguard public sector banks and people's money. And this one instance is enough that private banks are not efficient in our country. All along we know, and this is one more example, and that's why government must take a decision. Let us see what this government will do. Otherwise, we will intensify our campaign. We have decided in May, June, July. 19th July will be the golden jubilee, so 50th year of the bank nationalization. There will be more and more strike. We shall confront the government. It's not possible that this will continue like this. They will take all the benefit of public sector banks. Again, only create problem. They will not repay the loan, put the banks into trouble. Banks are in losses and private banks are escaping. This must be reversed. We shall do that. AIBA, we have planned. We are going to have a big campaign on that.
So, is one of AIBA's demand that these private sector banks which are in trouble, they should be nationalized?
Yes, very much, very much. All foreign banks and private banks in our country must be nationalized. That is our demand. And now immediately, you know these two culprits, ICICI Bank and Axis Bank, they are caught. So naturally they must be first nationalized. Then later we will see one by one. Our demand is all private banks and foreign banks, they must be nationalized. No doubt about it. That is in country's interest, that is in people's interest.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving us your time, and we hope to get back to you soon.
Thank you, Sujana. All the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching NewsClick. Please do keep watching us at newsclick.in.